This week is Parshas Taytse. Literally, when you go out, it starts with the issue of making war. However, the major topic of the Parsha is sex crimes. In many aspects, it's the most grotesque parsha of the Torah, more so than even the graphic chastisements in the Hukosai, in the parsha that comes Kitavo. In connection with this, Moshe Rabbeinu admonishes the Jewish people to remember the sin of Miriam. Now, the sin of Miriam was she criticized Moshe Rabbeinu for separating from his wife Yocheved. And she said that both she and Aaron are also prophets. Why does Moshe have to be different? Why does he have to make this decision? Okay. According to the letter of the law, sexual intercourse makes a person tameh. The law is that after a person has relations, to be restored to the state of purity, they must wash. Generally, the accepted law is in a mikveh, take a bath. In addition to that, they must wait until the following evening. In other words, it's after you're only pure once you've waited until the evening after you've taken a bath. It's similar to the idea of burying the dead, where a person is doing a praiseworthy act, but nevertheless they become tameh. The issue, what happens after the giving of the Ten Commandments, this is what Moshe talks about, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells the children of Israel to return to their tents. Now, that's a euphemism that they should be engaged in peru urvu, to be fruitful and multiply. But it's somewhat of a pejorative in this context, in the tone, in that it suggests that the nation was too inclined towards physical lust. It would seem that the issue of Miriam is that she should have really known better, and that if in fact people, she herself and Aaron, who were also leaders of the nation, also prophets, were on a higher level, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have talked to them in the times when he would have talked to Moshe, except for the fact that Moshe was temporarily not ritually clean. The idea of ritual cleanliness as a practical matter means that a person cannot eat things like tithes or partake in sacrifices, nor can he ascend the Temple Mount. The idea is that there are certain activities that mean that a person should distance themselves temporarily from sanctity. The Parsha also gives, we're dealing with the sensitivity of sexuality, the law concerning what is called a motzi shemra, a man who slanders his wife by saying that she in fact was not a virgin when he married her. It's extremely vicious what he is doing, and if it's considered a criminal offense for which he will be fined, flogged, and prohibited from divorcing his wife. The other side of it is, what if it's actually true that this happened, in which case the woman is stoned. The idea is, the simple reading of the Chumash is not so much that it's an example of adultery. It's more a case where she deceived her husband into believing that she in fact was a virgin when she married him, when in fact she was not. Also something that is extremely vicious. And what you have is two examples of situations where the person really has been violated greatly, and as a result of that, the penalty is very severe. In fact, the case of the woman, if she simply deceives her husband about it, she would not be executed under the law. It's a case where if it was where she actually had committed adultery, then, especially when she was engaged, then she would be liable for the death penalty. The Parsha, though, has a different side to it, which illustrates the heights that sexuality and love can bring a person, where a man who gets married during the first year of marriage is exempt from military and public service, specifically so that he could be misamech ishto, that he should make his wife happy during that time. The basic idea of love is that it is a very powerful emotion, and used properly, it will bring a person to the heights of holiness. This idea is captured in Psalm 45, where it's a praise, according to many, of a Talmid Chacham, where it says, you have loved righteousness and you have hated evil. Therefore, you have been imbued by God with a wisdom and a joy that's greater than others. It's not a literal translation, but it captures the essence of the pasuk. It included in that psalm, though, are what are extremely it's almost erotic, where it's talking about princesses being in his train. It continues with the same line, nitzvah shegal leminecha, often translated as the queen is stationed at your right hand, very close. But the use of the word shegal is difficult because it is a word whose definition really is the most carnal of words. The message seems to be that it is through a person's physical relationship that they can ascend to, that they can really enter the inner sanctuaries of God. The psalm ends that if a person, which hints at use of a person's proper uses of a person's passions, means that as Karashim Chabachol Dor Vador, your name will be mentioned in every generation. Al Kain Amim Yahoducha, that all the peoples will give thanks to you forever and ever.